Happy 4th of July, my couture crafters. You are currently looking at the quilt that my card was inspired by. Let's get into how I did this. So the first thing I did was I cut out a stencil with my Cricut. I for sure thought that I had a stencil that looked like that, but I guess I didn't. And I also, since I had my Cricut out, I used it to cut out a round card. I just typed in round card and this one came up, and I sized it so this card measures almost 6 by 6. So it's a good size circle. And I cut another circle out of a piece of cardstock with my Cricut, and I just glued it down on top of the card. I'm going to use the outer part of this circle as a like a mask so that I can do all my work on the inside of the circle. So now I'm laying down this template that I made, and I'm using repositionable adhesive on the back. I sprayed some pixie spray, but pixie spray probably only works on actual stencils. This was 100-pound cardstock, and it was a fail. So I had to use that repositionable adhesive. And now I'm grabbing some distress oxides. I reached for these because they're easier, and it looks smooth in person, but there's nothing like some good old ink blending with some dye inks, which I probably should have done to control the colors a little better. But whatever, I was just trying to play with this new technique, and I was not sure how this was going to work out. I stay away from stencils mainly because I'm always scared they're going to move. That is my number one fear in life, is that my stencil is going to move on me. So I was really concerned about this, and I'm playing with the technique, and I just wasn't sure how this was all going to work out. But anyway, it worked out pretty good. I just don't love the color combination. So I'm using some distress oxides and my brushes from Tailored. I think those are from Tailored Expressions. And I'm just cleaning them off by rubbing them on a paper towel in between. And I'm switching from tumbled glass. I started in the center with tumbled glass, then I went to salty ocean, and now I'm doing faded jeans. Which is funny because the blue fabric in the middle of that quilt actually looks like denim when you look at it in person. Everybody's like, is that denim? Nope, it's cotton. It just looks like jeans. So I'm going in little circular motions, and the key to blending, as we all know, is going back and forth between the colors. Now here is the big reveal. Don't forget that we have a mask on there right now. So this is just the center, and it looks pretty good. I grabbed this sunburst image from Google. I just Googled sunburst image and then I dropped it into the Cricut. I would have thought that I would have had a stencil that looked like this, which would have been nice if the stencil was even, if each one of those wedges was the same, and they're not. They're all different. And so in my mind, I thought I was just going to be able to switch it, and I was able to move it, but you can still see some of the other blending that I had done before. Not a big deal because I'm in the same color family, but had I been using like reds and greens, it would have turned to brown along the sides, and that would have been a mess. So I am working backwards from the lightest color on the outside and then going back in. And this worked better in theory than in execution. When I did the quilt, if you look at it, you can go to my Instagram, it's the same name. If you look at it on my Instagram, there's an ombre that's happening, and that same ombre really doesn't take place with these inks. But I tried it, you get the idea. Again, all of my quilts have cards that come with them. So I'm trying different techniques to achieve that. And this one here probably was the most difficult one that I've done thus far. So when you pull it up, you're going to see the wedges have some different colors in between them. And well, you can kind of see. You get the picture. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm taking this and drawing it a little bit, hitting it with the heater, so that we can go on ahead and put another mask on this circle. And actually what I ended up doing was putting the stencil down first and then the circle on top of it. There it is. Bam. That solved the issue. And I needed a red, and I didn't want to play around with any oxides, so I grabbed Rockin' Red from Catherine Pooler. I'm just masking off the back of that card. I don't want too much red on the back. And now I am good old-fashioned ink blending. Taking my time, going around, building up the color little by little with ink blending. Small circles. And that dauber is from scrapbook.com. It's the domed one. I don't mind using that one in my Catherine Pooler inks because it doesn't have a ton of lint and foam on it. And there's the reveal. So pretty. Would I do this again? Eh. Eh. You know, after you do things one time, sometimes I'm over it. And when I first showed people my quilt, they were like, oh, that's a Captain America quilt. Well, that's not how I saw it when I created it. But hey, you get what you get, you don't throw a fit. Captain America, we like him. Then I decided for that star to just drop a really small sentiment on there. I wasn't sure if I was going to do thank you for your service or what. So I just did a nice, simple, a gift for you. This quilt is going to a woman who is a veteran and she retired from the Air Force. And it's so often that you hear about men being, praised and whatnot. But you very, very rarely hear about women veterans, and you certainly don't hear about African American women who were in the military in any capacity, really. And so I'm just so happy that I found somebody who I thought I could do a quilt for. And this woman was in the Air Force, and that's even more rare. So go her. I hope that she enjoys this quilt and this card. And so I cut out a few stars from the Cricut. And of course, I did not want to take the time to put them all on there like super even. I didn't do that with the quilt. So I just kind of put them on there however I felt. And then, of course, I needed an envelope. I got rid of so much of my 12 by 12 cardstock that when it's time for me to do an envelope, I get nervous because I'm like, shoot, what am I going to use? I have this paper stack from Hobby Lobby that's stripes and polka dots. And when I tell you this is my jam and I find myself reaching for it all the time, I wish it had a better combination of colors. But for this card, this blue, perfect. I didn't have to worry about trying to make or ink blend something or anything else. So easy peasy. So now I'm using my envelope punch board to make this envelope. I'm rusty. I'm like, what? How do you use this thing again? How long has it been since I've crafted? My craft area is all dusty because my house is where dust bunnies go to die. And so you get what you get. You don't throw a fit. Now I'm going to go ahead and use a tape runner. I was going to use that tape runner, but it's just a little too wide. So I grabbed my ATG gun, which is dusty. Look at that. That's terrible. I should be embarrassed, but I'm not because I've been quilting like crazy and crafting, and that makes me happy. So, hey. Use a little ATG, and there you go. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. See you later. Bye-bye.